Genesis chapter 1 verses 24 and 25. And God said, Let the earth bring forth the living creature after his kind, cattle and creeping thing, and beast of the earth after his kind. And it was so. And God made the beast of the earth after his kind, and cattle after their kind, and everything that creepeth upon the earth after his kind. And God saw that it was good. There's a black and white photograph of me at Dublin Zoo in the early 1960s in a Tansad. You might call it a pushchair, the forerunner of modern day buggies. Dublin Zoo was a wonderful place to go to see the animals. Even as a child, I was amazed at the variety of animals in God's creation. Lions, tigers, elephants, giraffe, zebra, ostrich, seals, penguins, and so on. Despite the fact that the vast majority of the known species on Earth are actually insects, almost 1 million of them, it's the animals that impress us most with their variety. At least it impresses me. The fifth day brings before us the teeming oceans with all the sea creatures and fish, and then the skies with every kind of bird. The sixth day introduces the land creatures. I would not claim to be able to differentiate between the different classes mentioned in this verse. I believe that we're being presented with a general picture in any case. But I can see a general description of breathing animals in the phrase, the living creatures in verse 24. And then more specific groups of what would later be described as domesticated animals in the phrase or the word cattle. And then reptiles I see in the creeping things, and wild animals in beast of the earth, also in verse 24. Although it is important to remember that there were no wild beasts at the very beginning. Although created on the sixth day, animals are not on a level with humanity. We will consider this more in subsequent videos, but at the same time, we ought not to treat animals in a callous and careless way. The law of Moses set out the timeless principle that thou shalt not muzzle the ox when he treadeth out the corn. We read that in Deuteronomy chapter 25. I say it's timeless because it's twice quoted by the Apostle Paul in the New Testament. Solomon also wrote that a righteous man regardeth the life of his beast, Proverbs chapter 12. How we treat animals can say something about ourselves. In that verse I've just quoted, Solomon goes on to say that the tender mercies of the wicked are cruel. So, like me, you might have asked the question at some stage, why did God create the animals in any way? It's not an easy question to answer, but what I would say is that just as God has taught lessons in how he created the universe, so he is teaching lessons in the things that he has created. You will remember how the scriptures use animals to describe us. For example, in Isaiah 53, all we like sheep have gone astray. And then the Lord Jesus urged his listeners in the Gospel according to Luke chapter 12 to consider the ravens, for they neither sow nor reap, yet God feedeth them. And remember too that Solomon advised in Proverbs chapter 6, go to the ant, thou sluggard, consider her ways and be wise. So animals do have much to teach us about how we ought to live our lives wisely. Now, the next video will bring us to the crescendo of God's creation as we continue to think about the sixth day.